Hey everybody, we recently talked about what is a risk register, and I even mentioned briefly the difference between a risk register and a poem. And to clear some things up, a poem is not a limerick or some sort of haiku. It is a POAM, or plan of action and milestones. Thanks to a colleague who pointed that out, just to clarify. So one of the things that I think is really important is to remember that a risk register is a proactive set of projects, action items, tasks, if you will, that are based on potential exploitation found during an actual risk assessment. The POAM is something more in lines with you've done an audit. You've had an assessor, maybe you're going through the trust mark or some sort of CMMC type of scenario, and as a result of what the auditor has found, they've given you a list of things that need to be remediated. So, core difference, risk register identifies and tracks potential risks before they materialize. So this might come in the form of like a vulnerability scan or some sort of CVE recommendation based on technologies you use in your environment. And so you're proactively remediating those items. A POAM documents and manages the remediation plans for known weaknesses that are already discovered through assessment, audit, or incident. So hopefully that helps a little bit. So why does a POAM add value if you already have a risk register? And I think the piece that I would say that is most important is, while a risk register flags potential risks or potential threats, a POAM translates those threats once validated into actionable remediation plans. In fact, I've got several scenarios where we've had MSPs going through the Trustmark program, and these are things that show up on a POAM that should be they're action items, but they aren't necessarily going to be done in the next 24 to 48 hours. They're maybe put on a month or a 3-month timeline. They're often associated with being more significant from a project scope standpoint, as opposed to it's a ticket that you just quickly make some changes to and call it done. I can tell you that when you do the trust mark, that's one thing to point out, is that as a result of achieving the provisional and assured status, they will help you put together perhaps your first POAM and start to understand the value of using a POAM in your own organization. It's something that comes up across many different frameworks. HIPAA and CMMC are two prominent examples of where a POAM is needed. If you have questions and want to know more about how to build a POAM, or maybe you're just looking for some suggestions around building a template, please don't hesitate to reach out and let me know. I'd love to help you with that, and I'd love to see you get involved in the GTIA Cybersecurity Trustmark. Thanks.